Good afternoon. My name is Nick from Horwath HTL. So this year it's very special and different because COVID has sort of disrupted and brought us changes that we all have to embrace and adapt. We all are fighting against COVID, and one thing that I have noticed on the stage is because of budget constraint, I lost my chair. So this is a very timely and relevant moment to sort of hear new perspectives from fresh faces, but full of potential. So please join me in welcoming my two young, passionate hotel owners. So on your left, we have Kulanard Kanathanavanich, Executive Director of New Chapter Hotels, commercially known as the Vala Resort Hua Hin. On your right, we have Rachakorn Nanthavisai, General Manager of the Tubkaak, the beautiful Tubkaak Krabi Boutique Resort. So, we normally talk to each other, addressing each other by nickname, so I will go with that. Are you okay? So one trick for both of you, it can only get better from here. So we'll start with Jan. You graduated from, a university in US, went to work for an American firm like PricewaterhouseCoopers. So, and then you take the torch at the resort. Was it very difficult to live up to the expectation or even make it better because, your resort has a very established name?
When I started working at Tubkaak, I started as a clerk in every department. So I saw the changes from generation to generation. When I started working, everything was still not online yet. Everything was still manual. But a few years after I started working, we had to adapt to online changes and bring those into our company to make sure that everybody is on the same platform. So it was a change in online and marketing mainly, and as well as sustainable tourism as well, that we adapted and when I was first started working.
Why is online platform so important to you? Because your resort has been run very successfally, so why changing it?
We used to rely a lot on travel agent, but I mean it's a good thing. But and online marketing and sales comes a few years after I started working. We adapted that change because before we work with a speed of fast, we have to work fast enough, but now we have to work at a speed of technology. It has to be as fast as the online goes in a blink, in a second, because it's very important when the guests share the information, it goes across the globe in just a second. So we want to adapt those and use it as a tool to make sure that every stories at the resort is retelling the same stories all over again with marketing and sales.
Okay, so staying connected to your guests and be present where the customers are heading to, right? Okay, so moving over to Nino. You sort of also had a U.S. educational background, very impressive university, and got to work for a management consulting firm like McKinsey. So when you return to work for your family, is there any gap between your expectation and the reality?
Yeah, it's definitely a big change for me, coming from a very structured environment with a lot of resources and a lot of teams working with you. Coming back to work at my family business is a big change. The key for me was being able to communicate openly with all my stakeholders, both my grandparents, my parents, and also all the team members working around me on aligning, what kind of goals we're seeking to achieve in the next few years, and also what kind of expectations and working style that everyone is most comfortable with. Because again, having joined, I bring a different way of working, and so communicating openly and frequently is very important for us.
Okay, understanding, communication, and also, trying to be tenacious, right? Persistent with your ideas. And, because of that, I just want to ask you about, the Vala concept. because your family owns very established resorts, right? And then now you're like trying to bring in a new idea. So why Vala, and how did you win over the decision-making process?
Well, for us, I think number one is the most important is the financial side of things, right? Being able to understand that, okay, one, we're very lucky to have existing land parcels with solid fundamentals to create the Vala brand. But I think more importantly is how do we make sure that even in the worst circumstances, like in COVID situations, we can survive. Because especially having started as our first project, we know that there are a lot of learning opportunities and a lot of areas where things can go wrong. So we had to make sure that we had plenty of room of error so that, if anything happens, we can still be profitable.
Are you happy with the sort of like, the results of your rigorous analytical process? Because from my understanding, your resort opened right during the COVID period, right?
Yeah, we opened in September, and we're pretty happy with where we are right now. I think the main thing that's helped us a lot is the social media aspect of driving awareness for a new brand. For sure, when we're designing our spaces and our brand concept, we paid huge importance in making sure that social media-wise is something that customers are interested in. Okay.
And moving over to Jan again, I know your passion for wellness and sustainability. How are you taking it forward, and what's the plan?
So I think going forward, guests will look more for an experience. So they're not just going to come, stay, and then leave. They're going to look for a cultural experience or something that they could feel the real nature, to be in the way of local living and to eat the real authentic food, what we offer. So we try to offer that at Tubkaak, and we already involve Michelin star chef David Thompson to create the menu with what Krabi has, so that we can present the food of Krabi to the globe. And also we will take this concept forward to the wellness resort that is opening next year for us as well, to expand further and deeper into the concept of sustainability, to involve everybody in the community to be a part of it.
Okay, very exciting. But I think this is a good thing for us three to get up on the stage. From a consulting point of view, when we look from a bigger picture of Thailand, it's all about supply, right? Supply is one thing, one big challenge. Are you both concerned of being copied at some point, and we'll have to face a new competition?
For me, I think that I don't see this as a competitive thing, because I think that it's good to involve everybody in the community, and we're only a participant. If we can set examples for other communities or be participating in this, we would be more than happy to.
Yeah, I think copying is very hard in real estate. Like, I don't believe in first mover advantage. I believe that if you have a strong property and solid operations, you will do well. So I'm not too concerned about copying. Okay,
one last thing. So if you can actually wish for one radical change of our industry, what would it be?
I think for me is I'd like to see more hotels and the travel industry interact and try to include more of the local communities, because Thailand has a lot of rich cultural heritage. Our food, our arts and crafts, would be good to try to bring the best out of our local communities and try to help them grow with us.
You, Jan?
And for me, I think the education part is very important. It's important to teach Thai people to love what they have in their area. For example, if they should be proud of what their family has of their fishing boat. They should be proud of what the vegetables they grow in the garden. And this education part will bring charm or attraction to the guests and to everybody in the country, because GDP of Thailand relies so much on tourism industry. I think this is a very important part.
Well, thank you so much for your courage and also your care, because caring is sharing. Thank you.